Okay. Hi, Vance. How are you?
I'm great, Douglas. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. Uh, Disnify, your business. Reading through your bio, you worked at Disney for a number of years doing all kinds of stuff, yeah?
Yeah, I was there for just a tick over 10 years. Worked at a couple of places that no longer exist, Pleasure Island being amongst them. Don't know if you ever got a chance to visit the 5 acre, 7 nightclub island, as they called it. But yeah, I have 1,127 New Year's Eves under my belt because that was the
Wow.
theme of the island was New Year's Eve every single night.
I've only been to the Disneyland in California. I've never been to the one in Florida.
Yeah, they didn't have this in California. They actually mowed it into the lake probably about 10 or 15 years ago. It just wasn't conducive to or even remotely close to what Disney stood for. I mean, it was all about nighttime entertainment, booze, debauchery, scantily clad women, those kinds of things. So it wasn't really congruent with the rest of their message.
Okay. Well, one of your talking points that I wanted to hit on was that it says Disney was also the master of extracting money from your wallet, let it leave you happy.
Yes.
Tell us a little about that.
Sure. I mean, the great thing about Disney, or one of the great things about Disney, is that they really know how to put on the experience. So when you go to one of their theme parks, you're not just getting on a roller coaster. You're not going to an amusement park and having some kind of cheesy barker in the background trying to sell you cotton candy. It's an all immersive experience. And when you actually get off of an attraction, see, they don't even call them rides, they call them attractions. So
All
that's,
right.
again, they're doing that apples to oranges comparison. They actually dump you out into a merchandise shop. You can't get out of any Disney ride without going through a merchandise area. And those are designed, actually, Disney studied how casinos were built. And so there is no straight line out of there. So if you just got off of Pirates of the Caribbean with either your kids or your grandkids, and you just saw Jack Sparrow all over the place, and you walk into the Disney store that's right outside of Pirates of the Caribbean, you will run smack dab right into swords, eye patches, and hats that Jack Sparrow wore. And of course, your 7 or 10-year-old child is going to be wearing those things out the door, and you will have your wallet, whacked a little bit. Uh, the thing is that Disney's really creating memories. Which is again why they can charge a little bit more, and you don't feel so bad about making those purchases. A lot of those things you can't get anywhere else. So you say, you know what? We're here, we're going to get it, and we're not going to worry about it.
There was a lot of conversation about the marketing strategy of the Disney Vault with relation to their videos. And I've only known one other company that could get away with doing that, and that was Apple Corp with regards to Beatles films and music. But you got to be pretty big already to be able to pull that one off, don't you? I mean, I don't think a business starting out could do the vault routine and get away with it.
Well, I think they could. I mean, Disney does it very well. Granted, I mean, you and I probably don't have a Alice in Wonderland or a Bambi in our back pocket that we can pull out anytime we need to raise a little bit of income. But one of the things that I've always done, and I have a membership site which is $97 a month. And once a month, I will send out an email or a few emails to my list saying, okay, this month's Mouster class is coming up. And on November 30th, you will either be able to get it or you won't. It's going to literally go into the vault. And then once a year, once every 18 months, I'll actually bring out all of the classes or a select few of the classes from my vault and offer them for individual sale. So, yeah, I mean, a small business person If you've got content or if you've got a membership site, yeah, I think you could certainly do it.
Well, okay, that's good to know because I never really thought that anybody who didn't already have the following could get away with doing that. But I suppose it just depends on your product and how much in demand it is. Yeah.
Well, certainly, and it depends obviously on the content, and it depends on your authority, your standing with your crowd, the people that respond to you and listen to you. But I started it honestly. I started it on day one. So my first, I call them mouster classes instead of master classes. So my very first one, I think it was in a January. And at the end on January 31st, I said, look, even though this is my first one, if you don't get it by midnight tonight, it's going back in the vault. And I don't say it's there forever, but you can't get access to it.
Okay. Well, tell us a little about these master classes. What are you teaching? What are you doing?
Sure. Yeah, the master classes really, it's a deep dive into a particular strategy or tactic, whether it be in providing the client experience, whether it be in marketing. I'll give you an example. The one that I just finished up that closed yesterday was all about how to increase sales based on some Disney strategies. And one of the drop dead, brain dead, easy strategies that nobody really thinks of, but Disney, again, has down to a science, is eliminating friction, eliminating any of those roadblocks or speed bumps to a sale. So they literally have a department that is, the anti-sales prevention department. So they watch how the crowds go. And, back in the day in the 80s, sales were really low for merchandise in the parks. And then it wasn't until like 7 or 8 o'clock at night that those purchases really spiked. So all day long they were dead. And then as people were leaving, they would buy stuff because obviously they didn't want to carry it around in the parks. Then they came up with okay, well, we know that they don't want to carry it around in the parks. Why don't we come up with a way to deliver those trinkets and toys and plushes that they bought? We'll just deliver it back to their hotel room so they can buy it at 8 in the morning and not have to worry about carrying it around. When they get back to the hotel room, the items will be there. That was a great thing in generating sales in the parks. However, there was a little bit of a backfire in that now guests had to either cram stuff into the luggage, buy another piece of luggage just to take home all of the stuff that they bought. So now it kind of started to slip again. So what they did was they actually started selling stuff at the exits of the parks, hermetically sealed Ziploc baggies where they suck all the air out. So now it's this itty bitty little ball with no air, and you can kind of like chuck it into the corner of a suitcase. Even that wasn't good enough. So now when you go to Disney, they, instead of using their magic bands, which are the little wristbands, this is one of those things that talk about eliminating friction. One of the things that they saw with people in line was that if they were buying Minnie Mouse's 96-piece tea set and they were standing in line, the time it took Dad to go for his wallet and extract the wallet was like 2.5 seconds. But it gave Dad enough time to think about the purchase and put it away before he ever got the wallet out of his pocket. So Disney, you started using the magic bands. These are little wristbands. They're your park ticket. They are your door key to your hotel. And these things act as your virtual wallet. So all you got to do is walk up to something, say, yep, I want one of those. You slap your wrist up against the monitor, ding, all of a sudden you own that thing. Talk about eliminating friction to the sale. Disney took it one step further. And in the last 18, this is about the last 18, 24 months, Disney's has really built up their app. So when you're in the parks and you go to one of the merchandise stores, you can actually look on your phone, find that item in the app, hit the button and buy it. And instead of sending it back to your hotel room, The app sends that piece of merchandise straight to your house. And people were getting home. The merchandise was actually beating them home if they ordered it early enough in their vacation. So those are all the ways that, Disney really reduces the friction to the purchase. And the Mouster classes are designed to go deep into those subjects and then be able to apply it to really any business in the world.
Okay. I think that's a big topic to open up that we probably don't have time for right at the moment, because I'm trying to think how you could apply that to various brick and mortar type businesses. It would be harder to apply that to online, though, wouldn't it?
No, actually, online, you certainly can apply it. There was a study, Wall Street Journal was having some trouble with converting people from their marketing online to actually completing the order form. And what they found was that there was too much information being requested on the order form that they could actually request after the purchase. So they literally shortened the order form by, I don't know, it was like 3 or 4 questions, and their conversion rate on that order form went up. It was like 3 or 4% just by changing that order form. So yeah, I mean, if you're asking for too much information on an online form and people are abandoning the sale, it might be because you got too much stuff on the order form. The order form might be confusing because we all know a confused buyer will not make the purchase. So yeah, no, definitely applies online.
Okay, well, that's good information, because I have actually done that myself. I've gone to some spots to buy something or to look at something, and the order form had, I don't know, 20 questions on it. And I thought, forget it. And yeah, it's a fail,
So
definitely.
yeah, eliminating any barrier to the sale. Bricks and mortar. I mean, real quickly, I work with a lot of people in the dental industry, and they all have toothbrushes, toothpaste, teeth whiteners, and all this stuff that they can sell you at the end of the treatment. But all of that stuff in most offices I go to, all of that stuff is behind the desk or behind the reception area, and you really can't see it. So I tell the dentist, I'm like, put the thing in a nice big glass case right in front of the window where they check out. So they literally have to walk into the case that has teeth whiteners and all this stuff in there. I mean, they're getting 3, 4, 500% increases in merchandise sales just by moving the stinking box.
That's amazing. We have time for one more of your talking points. And I wanted to hit this one that says in quotes, your business must be tellable. Tell it, what is that?
If people are going to be talking about your business, which you do want them to do, you want to be controlling the narrative. You don't want people just going out there willy-nilly saying, this, saying that. And when I do my presentations or any of my workshops, at the beginning of the workshop, I always tell people, I said, you want people, your clients, when they leave your business, to be saying, you will never guess what happened at insert your profession here. So you'll never guess what happened at the oil change today. The guys were, had bow ties on. They came out. They had towels to open the door. They put the special seat liner down. They brewed fresh coffee. They did all this stuff. That's making your business tellable. When was the last time you went home and said, gee, honey, you'll never guess what happened at the oil change place today?
Yeah,
Unless it was
that's
really bad or really good. It's
right.
you don't have a conversation. So you've got to, when you're providing that level of service or you're providing that full experience, you want it to be so that people will talk about it and answer that question. You'll never guess what happened.
Okay. Tell us quickly about your book, Tales from the Customer Service Crypt. What
Yeah,
is that
that is
about?
10 stories. I'm actually working on volume 2. There's no shortage of poor client experience stories out in the world or even occurring to us. So it's 10 different client experiences that I've I've come across or experienced myself, and I lay out the story, and here's exactly what happened. And at the end of it, what I do is I break it down into like 3 or 4 questions that you should answer. So, how can you avoid this in your business? What can you do to add something so that this doesn't happen in your business? So it's almost like a little mini workbook set up in 10 chapters.
Okay, so these are horror stories,
That they are. Yes, sir.
customer service horror stories, and how to resolve that
Yes.
problem. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, my guest is Vance Morris. Do you have a website that you want to give out that people
Sure. Yeah.
can
The
check you
best
out?
way to get in
Yeah.
touch with me is through deliverservicenow.com. That's deliverservicenow.com. There's some great resources on there that people can grab and really start using the minute you get them.
Super. Thanks so much for coming on the show. This was very informative and a lot of fun talking to you. Best of